Welcome to this explainer. Space exploration absolutely pushes the boundaries of human ambition, but all that bravery, it's inevitably coupled with some profound risks. Today, we're examining the fateful story of NASA's Columbia Space Shuttle. It's a story of some truly groundbreaking science and ultimately a tragedy that shook the globe.
Everything appeared normal. Man, that is just one of the most chilling phrases when you're looking back at historical events like this. The crew was on their way home, executing those incredibly complex maneuvers required to bring a spacecraft out of orbit and back to solid ground. And to the mission control team and the astronauts inside the shuttle, it felt like a completely routine return. The data looked fine, the trajectory was set. Just moments before tragedy struck, there was absolutely no sign of the impending disaster.
And then, silence. The stream of data, the voices of the crew, the reassuring hum of telemetry from the Columbia back to Earth, it just stopped. And this wasn't some gradual fade-out either. It was a jarring, sudden loss of contact that immediately gripped the mission control room with this cold, heavy sense of dread. The routine was over. The nightmare had begun.
So what happened to the Columbia? How does a marvel of modern engineering, returning from a highly successful mission, literally just vanish from the communication grid in the blink of an eye? Okay, let's dive into this and explore the journey that led up to that terrifying moment of silence.
Section 1. The 2-week mission, returning home. 14 days. That's exactly how long their highly successful mission in space lasted. For 2 weeks, the crew of the Columbia lived and worked in the microgravity of space. They conducted experiments, they pushed the boundaries of human knowledge, and they functioned perfectly as a team. I mean, they had done the hard part, right? They survived the intense forces of launch, completed their complex orbital itinerary, and were literally in the final stretch. The ultimate tragedy here is that we lost them at the very end of this incredible 14-day achievement.
Section 2. Honoring Kalpana Chawla and the Columbia crew.
7. That's the number of astronauts on board the Columbia. 7 exceptional individuals who dedicated their entire lives to science, to exploration, and really to the betterment of humanity. They were mothers, fathers, pioneers, and heroes, and their lives were abruptly ended on that day. So, the crucial point is, this was a diverse, incredibly talented crew of 7, and among them was India's Kalpana Chawla. Her presence on this mission was historically significant, really representing the global nature of space exploration and standing as a massive beacon of inspiration for millions in India and all around the world. These 7 individuals were simply returning home from their demanding 2-week space mission. Actually, they had done their jobs flawlessly.
Section 3. The Columbia Disintegration, February 1, 2003. And this brilliantly illustrates the timeline of that day. 14 days prior, we had a flawless launch. But on February 1st, as the shuttle underwent that fiery process of re-entering Earth's atmosphere, communication was suddenly lost. Shortly after that terrible silence, the unthinkable happened. The shuttle disintegrated in the skies above the Earth. It was a sequence of events that unfolded with just devastating speed. Because of the trajectory right over the United States, this wasn't some event hidden away in the deep reaches of space. People on the ground, looking up with their own eyes and amateur cameras, actually witnessed the debris streaking across the morning sky. The disintegration was witnessed globally as the entire world realized that the 7 astronauts they'd just been cheering on were gone.
Section 4. A 20-year legacy. Looking back.
It's been over 20 years since that dark day in space history. To put that into perspective, that's enough time for a whole new generation of engineers and astronauts to enter the field, carrying the memory of the Columbia with them as an absolutely foundational lesson.
February 1st, 2003 brought immense tragedy, for sure. Yet, in the 20 years following this disaster, no similar incidents have occurred in space missions. The loss of the Columbia was an agonizing wake-up call, but it's one the space community listened to, resulting in unyielding improvements to mission safety. We truly learned from the heartbreak. So as we look back on 20 years of safer space missions directly informed by the sacrifice of these 7 heroes, we have to ask ourselves, how does the legacy of Kalpana Chawla and the Columbia crew continue to inspire us to brave the great unknown? They knew the risks, yet they flew anyway, because the pursuit of knowledge is just that important. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it leaves you inspired to keep looking up and to keep learning about the incredible, sometimes heartbreaking mysteries of space.